Train Lover 1974 presents The Ghost Shunter. It was a spooky day on the island of Sodor. It was nearing Halloween, and the engines were working hard trying to get ready for the fall season. Including, they wanted to get their work done quickly before the Halloween party would come up. So this way then, they wouldn't have much work to do. Percy was helping shunt some heavy coal cars into his site. Dirty Percy's on our track. Don't call me Dirty Percy! Ow! Come on, we were just joking. How many times have I told you not to call me that? Twice? Whew. I practically tell you guys every day, now shut up. Oliver was also picking up some passenger cars to take the... picking up some passenger coaches, basically to take down to the Little Western. So, Percy, I've been hearing you're having trouble with trucks. I'm not having trouble with trucks, Oliver. I'm just trying to get them in order. Well, I mean, you should be careful with them. Trucks don't take kindly to tricks. I've already learned that lesson once. You mean when you fell in the turntable? Don't bring it up, Percy. Good point. Anyway, I have to be off, or else I'll be late. Oh yeah, did you see Thomas by any chance? No, why? Tell him I said, boo! Are you still teasing him about that time you spooked him all those years ago? Yes! Percy, you do know that was a long time ago, right? Ever since you hit that car line and spooked him, you've been teasing him ever since. You've been teasing him since even I got here. I know, but it's funny. Don't you think it's kind of mean, though, to do this to him? I mean, is that he hasn't really done anything to you. Oh, what's the harm in it? A minute. It's Halloween. Well, you never know. He could get back at you. What's he gonna do? Alright then, but don't say I didn't warn you. Oh, what does Oliver know? No, he's never played a ghost trick on anybody ever since he got here. Beep! Ooh, right on time. Dun 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 dun. Phew. Got the milk. Now all I need to do is just shunt him into the yard and then get back to the sheds for a rest. And then I could take my coaches. Dun dun dun. Hey, Percy. Boogity, boogity, boogity! Whoa! You fell for it! Oh, Jesus, Percy, are you ever gonna get tired of this? No. I'm honestly shocked how I even got scared. I should have suspected this. Yeah, you should have. And now I got you. You didn't really even get me, Percy. I saw you. You just surprised me. Yeah, but I still spooked you. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, I got the milk. Oh, good. Just leave it there and go get turned around. Alright. I knew I'd get him. After Thomas again turned around and had some coal and water, he was just resting on the sign where the trucks were as Percy was shunting the milk tankers into the sun. You better watch out, Thomas, or the ghost could get you. Shut up, Percy. I am so sick of him. He hasn't stopped teasing me ever since he played that prank on me. That's when Edward told him. Oh, hey, Edward. Hello, Thomas. You seem rather upset. What's the matter? It's Percy. He's been playing these tricks on me ever since that night he spooked me when he hit a cart of lime. He's still teasing about that? Yes, he is. He won't stop, and I'm getting really annoyed about it. You know, there is an old story I remember about these yards. Doesn't Percy usually come here around a lot? Yeah, he does. This is the main yard where it connects to the main line to our branch line. Perfect. How do you mean? Well, this wasn't always a yard. Wait, really? Yes. And I'll tell you the story. And this was the story Edward told. A long time ago, back when I first arrived on the railway, There was a small little red tank engine that worked in here, but this wasn't always a yard. For a short time, it was a yard for a very short time, but it wasn't become a yard very long. When the First World War broke out, basically during that October, it was turned into a military yard, basically. So wait a minute, it was still a yard? Yes, but it was only permitted for military supplies only. He was put in charge of it because you know, he was useful. But this went to his smoke box. He always kept bragging, basically, about how he was more important than any of the other engines, since he had a very important job to do. Me and the others knew that something was going to happen to him if he kept acting like this. Especially how he kept bumping some of the vans that were filled with dangerous ammunition. One night, though, a very important train, some ammunition was due to be head over to the mainland to be helped to supply the armies in France. I came in to help out. I was going to help shunt some trucks, basically, when he was gone. I warned him to be careful, saying this is very dangerous. One mistake could lead you to explode into smithereens. But wait a minute, why was he doing to shunt the train? Well, what happened was the original engine, it was a tender engine that was going to take the train, he had broken down, so he was asked to take the train. Although it wasn't really a long train, it only consisted of 2 vans and a fuel tanker. So this meant it wasn't long enough to be considered an extremely dangerous train. Or too heavy. But I still did warn him to be careful. Because anything could happen. Edward, why'd you go silent there? It's just kind of hard to reflect on those old memories. Anyway, his guard's whistle blew, and then he departed. That's when I noticed he was missing his brakeman. Wait, stop! But he didn't hear me, and he continued down the line with the ammunition. I was worried, so I went after him. He was thundering down the line. Apparently, he was singing, including being reckless, bumping the vans. But what he didn't know was the fuel tanker was starting to leak a bit from all the bumping. That's when a spark flew out of his funnel. And then it happened. I had just passed by. I was just nearly coming up to where he was when I had knew what had happened. I immediately went back and went to get the breakdown train. I soon came up to the scene of the accident. It was devastating. The fuel tanker was completely blown to smithereens. Nothing even remained. The vans were burning, and the engine. His face had completely been blown off from the explosion. I had never seen such a more tragic. Eventually, his remains were taken to the scrapyard, as soon because there wasn't that much they could do for him. And due to this takes place during war times, if the accident was covered up. But it is said, on every anniversary of the accident, in the yard, which was once part of the military, you could see him roaming in the yard, trying to continue his work. But he usually never does. Holy crap, that was an amazing story. I didn't like, though, how you went silent there for a second, but that was still an amazing story. Sorry about that. It was just kind of hard to reflect on that old memory. That's when, beep, beep, it turned out Percy had listened to the whole story. That story's a bunch of baloney. Baloney, Percy? Really? Whatever. Edward, how's that story true? True, don't you think there would have been, like, a memorial or a plaque or something to, like, let us know he existed or something? Your story as a whole have been not... It was a good story, but it's not true. I wouldn't do that, Percy. You know, he never took kindly to rude tank engines. Pah, said Percy. He chuffed away. Thomas then started coming. He thanked Edward, and Edward puffed away. Thomas started thinking of a plan to get back at Percy for all of his teasing. He knew exactly how. Evening. 2 days later, in the evening, Thomas and Percy were just preparing to head back when the yard manager came up. I need one of you to take a small milk train down to the station. You could probably just push it. It's because they're not heavy, and plus also it won't take you too long. Thomas then came up. Please, sir, I'm sure Percy wouldn't mind taking the train. Percy then gulped. He nodded. Of course I can. Of course, I'll be glad to. Percy had not really gotten the story that Edward had set off his mind. And he was extremely nervous. Soon, Percy was coming down the line, pushing the milk tankers. And soon, because he was the only one due out on the night. Soon, he arrived at the yard, where the coal trucks were still sitting. He shunted the tankers into a siding, and was just preparing to back out when he heard steam. What was that? What was what? I heard steam. Steam? What are you talking about? That's when he noticed something. One of the trucks began rolling on its own. What? What? Wait, what? The truck didn't seem to want to stop until... Ah, it's the ghost! It's the ghost! Get me out of here! Percy didn't stop until he would reach back to the yards. Edward and Thomas were just chatting when peep! Whoa, Percy, whoa, what's wrong? It's the ghost! I saw him! He moved the truck! A truck? Percy, are you sure your mind isn't playing tricks on you? I'm not kidding! I saw it! Edward gave a worried look. Thomas, though, didn't believe Percy. Huh, I bet there's nothing there. Come on. No, Thomas, no! Thomas didn't care and continued puffing away. Percy followed. Edward gave a worried look and followed with him. They soon arrived back at the yards. Yards where Percy claimed. That truck moved! Really? Yes! Oh my god, it's moving again! What? How? What the? What was that? Okay, who's there? Oh, you guys fell for it. What the hell? Is that the yard manager? It is, I played a prank on you guys. But, how? How did you move the truck? It was simple. I released its brakes really easily. I removed its brakes this way it'd be easy to move. And then I also put weights in the back, basically, so basically, when it moved forward, basically, like this. It would move, then with the weights, and then I would let go, it would just roll back really fast because of the heavy weights in the back. I'm not liking this against my buffers. See? You jerk! I thought there was a ghost train! Thomas then started to laugh. Thomas, did you have something to do with this? I actually didn't have anything to do with this, but still, this is the perfect payback. back. Now you know how I felt when you spooked me. So wait, I did get you to admit it. Yeah, you did. Yeah. Edward chuckled. He looked back and then noticed a small little red tank engine was sitting in the background, wheezing steam. Still sticking around, eh? The engine wheezed a bit to tell Edward he was happy. Farewell, old friend. The engine wheezed again and puffed off and disappeared. As Thomas and Percy kept arguing, Edward gave a slight... Edward felt happy, though, was that his friend could move on a bit. And plus, he was having fun watching Thomas and Percy argue. You did not spook me. Yes, you did. Did not, did too, did not, did too, did not, did too. Screw you, Percy. No, screw you, Thomas. Yeah. Come on, guys. Let's get back to the sheds. It's getting late. All right. Boo! Happy Halloween!